for Thursday. And we just have a few bites on tonight, and we're going to keep it real under 30. I'll see you right back. Hi, everybody. It is Black Spring with Autumn on your Thursday, and just dropping in with you just for a short period of time. There's just a few things that I want to show you, which these things are getting under my skin. I've done a whole lot of commentary or reflection on this whole Roe v. Wade deal, but I do want to show you a couple of exchanges between. Well, this is what I call like the theater that they do. But I want to highlight the person that's making all of these, conflating and making weak arguments about the whole issue, and also I think she's maintaining. She's doing the typical formula for the argument for abortion, and of course she names her group, her specific group, every single time, and it's also economic precedents as being, or economic concerns are being brought up in this. But I just wanted you to see this particular exchange. I wanted you to see that, and maybe one other line that I wanted to jump in on this particular segment. So really appreciate you guys so much for tuning in. If you're out there, if you're not sure you're tuning in, I appreciate you for considering. If you're a voyeur, well, that's your business. It's been done before. So I'm going to pull this up, and that's going to be concerning Senator Tim Scott and Janet Yellen. And to me, it's the typical elite or liberal script. And yeah, like just it doesn't even come off. I mean, I've watched this at least once, but it doesn't come off real. It doesn't come off genuine. It's just their studies, which is probably done by the PEW Institute, or I'm not even sure. She says there's studies that prove that point to this, that point to that. But they don't go out of their way to create any other economic alternatives for opportunities to lower, the pitfalls or the negative effect that they claim will happen. So of course, it's always about their committees and always about their studies. But to me, it's a much darker agenda per usual. It's a bit cultish looking, a little bit dark. For me and for many people at this point. I don't even think we're dealing with, people of, we're not really dealing with people that they're not serving. They're serving, but they're not serving the people. They're serving themselves. They're serving other agendas at this point. So I think that's fair to say. But I want you to see that for yourself. And I'm trying to get in and out since this is a real under. So I appreciate you guys so much for tuning in. So we'll take a quick little break here. I'll be right back. Thanks so much for tuning in. All right, guys. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you the other story we're going to get into is, of course, by now, I'm not sure if you haven't heard that there are, of course, the baby formula shortages are. Hi, Mad Militant. Thank you so much for coming in. I really appreciate it. Thank you. We're going to go to the NY Post really quickly and have a look at a baby formula story the shortages out of New York. We have a story out of there involving the special needs kids. We'll have a look at that one. And I think I have one other one that I wanted to get into, but yes, I'm just, the hypocrisy is so thick. Um, Narcissistic personalities that we deal with all the time. So if they deem your life, if they say your life is dirt, then I guess and if they tell you that enough times, you'll believe it, right? That's typically what they do, right? What is it? What is it? The task. If you tell a lie enough times, what do they say? It becomes the truth. Is that right? Something like that. Something like that. All right. I think that StreamYard's having a bit of issues these days. It seems to be like more and more issues are coming up on StreamYard. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a little bit what I consider a little bit of landscape on this, and then I'm going to show you the exchange between Senator Tim Scott, and Janet Yellen. All right. Yeah. So we'll go with that. We'll go with the first one. I'll go with the landscaping first. And I also want to show you the announcement from the UN. I'm a bit behind because the announcement of the partnership between the UN and the We Forum to me has been very real for a long time. But it was, to me, it's been like official, and it's a little bit more in your face right now. So what I'm going to do is let's go with a little bit of context, or what I'll call a little bit of landscaping here. And this is going to be entitled Losing Abortion Rights Would Have Damaging Effects on Economy. Okay. Do you see how the conditioning goes? And they know damn well it has nothing to do with the economy. I mean, to me, it's targeting. It's a targeting. They drop Margaret Sanger's name and they pick up 20 more that could very well be. They could name it, the Yellen, the Yellen Project, or the Yellen. She could be the founder. Any of these people could be the founder because the agenda is the same. It doesn't change. The group is always, there's a target for every community, and this one is, of course, it's a Black community target. So hang on tight just one second, but I want to welcome you guys into the Tonite Bites, for sure. Hope you're doing well out there. And Mad Militants here. I'm not going to do, maybe I won't do the bells and whistles again. I think we're a little bit challenged there. So we'll go ahead and share the screen with you. Appreciate you guys so much for coming out. Okay, so let's go with the economic damage. They're so concerned about Blacks and the economy, right? You gotta have an abortion in order to be, better off, right? And that's gonna be better for the economy. That your life is dirt. You're better off dead for the economy, right? I'm just saying. So I'm gonna share full screen with you on this. This is pathetic, and then I'll show you the exchange between. Thank you, Mad Militant. Thanks so much for coming in. I appreciate it. All right, I appreciate you guys for hanging out and being here. Let's go with this.
Draft of the court's majority holding in Roe versus Wade is the actual decision. What impact will the loss of abortion access mean economically for women?
Well, I believe that eliminating the right of women to make decisions about when and whether to have children would have very damaging effects on the economy and would set women back decades. Roe v. Wade and access to reproductive health care, including abortion, helped lead to increased labor force participation. It enabled many women to finish school. That increased their earning potential. It allowed women to plan and balance their families and careers. And research also shows that it had a favorable impact on the well-being and earnings of children.
To make it sound like it's just another 0.4% added to our labor force participation as a result of the issue of abortion, just to me seems harsh. And
Well, I
callous.
certainly don't mean to say what I think the effects are in a manner that's harsh. What we're talking about is whether or not women will have the ability to regulate their reproductive um, situation in ways that will enable them to plan lives that are fulfilling and satisfying for them. And one aspect of a satisfying life is being able to feel that you have the financial resources to raise a child, that the children you bring into the world are wanted, and that you have the ability to take care of them. In many cases, abortions are of teenage women, particularly low income and often Black, who aren't in a position to be able to care for children, have unexpected pregnancies, and it deprives them of the ability often to continue their education, to later participate in the workforce. So there is a spillover into labor force participation, but
Yeah.
and it means that children will grow up in poverty
Yeah.
and do worse themselves.
Thank you. Let me.
Okay. All right, I have to stop this. I have to stop this here because she says a whole lot of things here, which in a perfect world we would be able to plan everything, but I don't hear them making the same arguments for. They'll say women, but before you know it, you got to figure out which. Is it hard to tell which women they are talking about that it sets back? Okay, let's not pretend here that first of all, I don't think feminism was ever intended feminism to me was ever really intended for the Black woman. Okay, I really think that these things were established like what, 60s the 70s. I really don't think, I think that was a liberal agenda, and it was never about including Black women in it. So to say it sets women back, which women are you talking about that they never had? If they didn't have this, a lot, first and foremost, she's assuming that people feel that they're set back. Okay, you cannot convince me that Black women were out here beating the streets and begging for abortions back in the 40s, the 50s, the 60s. No. I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to tell you, this is from what I know of as experience. Okay? I think most people, specifically when we talk about Black or African American women, they raise their kids. And at the time, and in those times, I'll tell you another thing that happened a lot of times in the Black community. That was a time in which a little something called shame was alive and well, and you would be shamed. You could be very well shamed and shunned by your own family members. And this is what they would do, which was less inhumane than this alternative that she's saying that you need to do. They might ship you off, say if you were born in the South and you became pregnant, as they say, out of wedlock. That was the language of the day. They would send you off to a friend of theirs in another state so that they would avoid the shame, that the family would not bear all the brunt of the shame. That I know of many cases like that. I know of many cases, but I know very less of people from the 40s, 50s, and 60s that were out here beating the streets for abortions. You're not going to convince me that Blacks were doing that back in the day. You had some that probably did want to abort. You did, but you cannot convince me that they wanted it at the level of that they had liberals out there speaking for them and beating the streets and burning bras and all this. You can't, it wasn't happening. This is an illusion. And to me, this is some dark cultish BS for a black market industry. And I don't, no pun intended, but there's a couple of things going on here, and it has little to me or anything to do with the economy. Okay, you see how they never really make a case. You don't make a case for anything else that might propel people into the economy or put them into the economy in a much better state. She talks about, oh, it limits them from being able to get an education. Of course, people should planning. Yes, planning does set you up for, it does, I think, give you a goal, objective, a target. And yes, you should be financially stable. But these people don't care about whether these people are actually financially stable or not. There's a much greater agenda. That industry is worth billions of dollars probably by now. This black market for kids, we all know the cat's out of the bag. It's out of the bag. And I'm going to tell you this. The other thing is, you cannot convince me that most black women during the 40s, 50s, and 60s believe that they were missing out on abortions. I mean, that's one of the dumbest. That when you add that to the setback, what were they set back from? You think they felt like they were missing out on not being able to take a life? That's whether you compare it to Sally Sue with the long blonde hair. Oh, she can do it. Why can't I do it? That is one of the dumbest. That is one of the most immature, one of the dumbest arguments. That's not even an argument. That's something that you would hear a child say. Oh, well, back in the day, I have heard some people say, oh, well, back in the day, those white girls, they could go out and abort their kids, but we couldn't do that. And then when I hear stuff like that, it's like, okay, so your logic was you needed to be able to do something wrong to feel like you were worthy. I mean, I feel like that's ridiculous. You needed to end somebody's life because somebody else was doing something, because they were able to do something that was not in somebody's life. You need to be able to do it too, because that's going to make you just as worthy as them. Is that I'm telling you, the logic that you hear about this stuff, and this woman right here, to me, she's pretty much demonic, because she's using her research to convince people that their life is better, that you're better off dead than to be, if you can't go into the economy, better than poor. Well, I'm going to tell you this: most black people came out of poor conditions, and somebody gave us a chance. Whether it's me, whether it's you, the next person, somebody gave you a chance. And the thing is, though, I find most people aren't the people that are out here beating the streets for abortion are the ones who are here. They're here. They were given a chance to live. They were given a chance, but you need to figure out how to way to end somebody else. You need this woman to tell you that it's good for you to end somebody else's life. And there are a lot of people that'll go with that. But it seems like some people are actually starting to figure out, yeah, something a little bit off about all of this. This woman could care less about blacks and black women. She could care less. She doesn't care what percentage of the population you are. She says your life is dirt. You'd be better off dead if you can't contribute to the economy, but with better education and being better off. And it's just total BS. That is one thing, they don't give specifics. What setback? I mean, if you even go into like 60s and 70s and with Cloward and pivot strategies and all that about those isms, the feminisms and this ism and that isms, all of that, most black women weren't even a part of that. So when they say setback, it didn't start out, it had nothing to do with black women. That was not something they were a part of. But it's all of this crap is pumped in to pop culture. It's all this crap they pump into the music, or to me it's all social engineering to make you think that this feminism was for you all along, and you need to off your children if you're not in the perfect situation, which most Black people and many people of other backgrounds, it's not about. Most people did not come into this world in the perfect situation, and they didn't come in here with silver spoons in their mouths or tons of money, but nobody aborted them. I don't know what her situation is, but I think these people have no right to tell them that their life is dirt because they can't contribute to the economy. And like I said, I'm saying this is gross. This is the kind of crap that they do. And half the people that should be watching her, they're not paying any attention to her. Okay, I'm going to keep going. I'm getting on my little tangent here, but I'm going to show you the exchange between her and Scott. Proverb Nation says family was important to Black couples in those days. In the 40s to the 60s, abortion was not a welcoming concept until the miseducation of Black women entered by evil and hurt Caucasian women. Well, I can certainly attest to that, Proverb Nation. That's what I'm saying. This is it's almost like these people have been able to social engineer and erase history. It's evil is what it is to me. It's evil to put this kind of conflation out there. And then she even goes so far as to say, she talks to teenage women. You can't be both. Are you a teenager or are you a woman? Which one is it? And it's like she's reading a script, or either she's memorized it, because she's got the same expression on her face the entire time. So I'm going to go on next, let you see this exchange between her and Scott. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it, even with the technical craziness that goes on around here. So I'm just going to take you to the next one. All right, this one's even shorter than that. So I'm just going to let you hear the exchange here, because this is, of course, it's theater to me, but at the same time, these people are bad actors, but they're the ones that are making pivotal decisions in people's lives. All right. So this one's going to be entitled, "Did you say ending the life of a child is good for the labor force?" Do you see? It's not funny at all. It really is. It's not. Okay. I'm going to make sure you guys have full screen here. Okay, here we are.
Some of your comments in response to Bob's question I found troubling, and
okay, so sorry, this one's a little bit longer than that, but I want to. It'll be good if we can see this. So, thank you so much for tuning in.
Just from a clarity's sake, did you say that ending the life of a child is good for the labor force participation rate? Giving someone the access, let me just quote what you said, that ultimately increasing access to abortion and reproductive health care allows for our labor force participation rate to continue to increase, that denying women access to abortion increases their odds of living.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm pretty exhausted.
Or need for public assistance is a guy who was raised by a single mom who worked long hours to keep us out of poverty. I think people can disagree on the issue of being pro-life or pro-abortion, but in the end, I think framing it in the context of labor force participation it just feels calloused to me. I think finding a way to have a debate around abortion in a meeting for the economic stability of our country is harsh. And I'm just surprised that we find ways to weave into every facet of our lives such an important and painful reality for so many people, to make it sound like it's just another 0.4% added to our labor force participation as a result of the issue of abortion. Just to me seems harsh.
Well, I certainly don't mean to say what I think the effects are in a manner that's harsh. what we're talking about is whether or not women will have the ability to regulate their reproductive um, situation in ways that will enable them to plan lives that are fulfilling and satisfying for them. And one aspect of a satisfying life is being able to feel that you have the financial resources to raise a child, that the children you bring into the world are wanted, and that you have the ability to take care of them. In many cases, abortions are of teenage women, particularly low income and often Black, who aren't in a position to be able to care for children, have unexpected pregnancies, and it deprives them of the ability often to continue their education, to later participate in the workforce. So there is a spillover into labor force participation, but
Got it.
and it means that children will grow up in poverty
Yeah.
and do worse themselves.
Thank
And
you. Let
this
me
is-
just
this
reclaim
is
my
not
time off
harsh.
the topic.
This is the truth.
I'll just simply say that as a guy raised by a Black woman in abject poverty, I'm thankful to be here as United States Senator first. Second thing I'd say is that we can at the same time have a real conversation about increasing child tax credits that are refundable. We can at the same time have a conversation about the opportunity to have a more robust system around the issue of child care, of early childhood education. We could have a conversation about financial literacy. There's a lot of ways for us to address the issue about the child that's here. So that just to me was unusually piercing comments that you made. I will say on my prepared question that in face of persistent inflation, I think caused in many ways by the $2 trillion package that was approved in early 21 that was followed by a $1.2 trillion package that both combined led to an overheating of our economy, slowing growth caused by a backlog pipeline driven by too much demand with too little supply, followed by a lagging labor force participation rate. People aren't coming back to work, though we have millions of jobs that are open. The atrophying of the muscle for work seems to be endemic in this current Biden administration's approach, coupled with government debt that is now well over $30 trillion and growing very fast. How do we justify looking at the Build Back Broker plan or the Build Back Better plan and saying to ourselves that more money in the economy is going to help us to reduce the inflationary effect, where the average person today is paying $4.37 for the average 87 unleaded gas?
Well, the American Rescue Plan, that's not Build Back Better, was designed to mitigate what at the time seemed to be the most significant and worrisome risk facing the economy, which was that unemployment would stay high, the labor market would remain weak, and especially low-income households would lose the roofs over their heads and be unable to put food on the table and be permanently scarred by the pandemic. And at the time, forecasts were really quite dire, including those of the Congressional Budget Office and outsiders, and no one really knew just how significant the risks were. The American Rescue Plan was a large package. It was targeted at the needs, particularly of those who were most severely affected by the pandemic. And when you look at the state of the labor market, as you described, the fact that it is so strong, maybe overly strong, overly hot, is in a way a sign of the success of that program and mitigating what could have been another Great Depression, a risk that we should not have been willing to take.
I
Now,
know,
inflation is clearly a problem.
I think
it-
Chairman Brown's going to tell us both we're out of time. So let me just finish with this, just perhaps
Statement, not a question, correct? Senator?
Perhaps, yes, of course. perhaps better say what I said, which is number one, the $1.9 trillion rescue plan, followed by the $1.2 trillion infrastructure plan, with another BBB on the table for more spending, was the delineation between the three categories of spending that I believe two already passed that have overheated the economy, and then having a third package on the table to once again continue to provide more stimulus to economy that can't take the stimulus that's already been provided.
If
Those
you
are the
look
three
at the
areas.
president's budget, you will see that it is fully paid for through higher tax collections, and that the budget also incorporates substantial deficit reduction.
This lady is so sweet. Isn't she sweet? Oh my gosh, I can't even believe it. Oh, well, I'm not even quite done with that. Look who I have here coming in. It's Angry. Hi, Angry.
Hello, young lady.
How are you?
I'm good. I got a couple of. They are saying, show me a couple of laws. These are what the leftists are saying. Show them a couple of laws that regulate the man's body, a male's body. I can think of a couple.
Okay.
One, the man can die. The man can very well die. The first one, the draft. Women still ain't a part of the draft. So, isn't that the government telling males that they're going to regulate their bodies? And the second one, hey, child support. Because if you don't pay the child support, what happens to you? Where do you end up?
You can end up in the slammer.
Exactly. So, there's a couple of laws that I can think of that regulate a male's body. What do you think, Autumn? Am I right or wrong here?
Well, I definitely think that there's a way to. Yeah, I would say, yeah, there's a way that they inadvertently regulate males' bodies. Yeah, I do. But but it works for some. So for some cases, it doesn't work. But these are the types of people that you have. Look, this is a blue hair, gray knuckle situation we're dealing with. Okay.
Very true. That's very true.
So,
but yeah, I just thought I'd throw those two out there because it's like there are no laws, because I seen that you showed Brett Kavanaugh with before she came to Kamala Harris. So yeah, I just think it's kind of funny that when the draft comes into effect, they regulate a man's body. They tell them what to do, literally.
Well, they're also coming up with they've coming up with male birth control. They think they've got it.
That's true.
They think they've got it. So I'm tired of hearing from these people. They should not be at this point. The credibility it's like, but how does she define what the meaning of life is, of a good life? How does she determine that? You see what I mean?
I wish I could speak to Miss Yellen. I want to ask her a question, because I think I've said this on your channel. I'm a survivor of an abortion. My quality of life isn't the same as yours is, Autumn. But does that say my quality of life isn't good?
Well, I would say it's a blessing for you to be. You're here. You're here with me. You're here with us, and I'm thankful that you're here.
But that show, because I don't actually think it's about, because I don't know if you ever heard of him, Chaotic Truth.
No.
I was on his panel yesterday, and there was a guy up there saying, and he came out and said that he's a eugenicist. He thinks there's too many people on this earth.
Yeah, well, that's yeah.
I know.
I call it wet dreams of the elite is what I call it. You know, I mean, and the only people, and I have heard people saying, like other people saying that as well. And I'm just saying, when you realize the same people that are peddling, that are trying to put a number on how many people should be here, how do they know it's overpopulated? These are most of these so-called intellects. They don't believe in any God or higher power. No.
Exactly.
So how do they know? What is the number that they are actually? Where's the number? Where's the establishment?
It's about 1 million. It's about 1 million. About 1 billion people they say should be on this earth.
Well, I've had to say things. This is a family member of mine. And I'm just saying, do you realize the same person that you're parroting or that you're mocking, the same people that are they're parroting this? Do you realize you're not in the same class that they are? They want you gone.
Mm-hmm.
While you're out here parroting and mocking their wet dreams about control and being omnipotent and being everywhere, all and controlling you, they want you gone. You know, it applies to you. What's your number going to be? Will you be allowed to pick that with all it's like, to me, I think some people just say things because it makes it seem like they're smart or something. What actual thought did they put behind what they're saying? Like, did you just think critically just for a few minutes? Then it doesn't jive. How do you decide who stays and who goes? And what's this magical thinking, this magical number that they're trying to convince people that should be here?
And with the guy on Chaotic Truth's channel, he said anybody above 100 IQ should be allowed to stay. Because that's about the normal.
Well, and
anyone out of 100.
To me, these people are disgusting. They have no right to say anything. Like, they have no right. To me, you're basically putting a target on people. And to me, I think when people start talking like that, I think people should be, you're basically making an attempt on people's lives when you say that. I hope you understand. Anything that you do from this point on will be considered that. And people need to really start thinking about that. They need to think about what is at stake here when people are saying these things.
But I think, and I'm going to say this, I think a lot of liberal people that vote for the Democrats don't actually know what happens if Roe versus Wade gets overturned. I think most people do not know what actually happened. They think abortion will be illegal nationwide, is what they're thinking. A lot on the left.
Well, I don't think most of most of them they don't really read. You know, they're not reading anything. They're just parroting whatever's trending on the alphabet networks is what they're going to say, and whatever in the student square is what they're going to parrot, is what they're going to do.
Cimarron Watchman is actually right with the last two statements he's made in chat. He just made in chat.
Hi, Watchman, how are you? He says they don't know much of politics, period. Right. And then he also says they are led by emotions. Yeah, that's exactly the part that's getting this. Those are the ones that are making major decisions. People that are led by their emotions. Those are the ones that you need to be careful with. Let's see.
Anonymity, you're right. It's never happened. This is the first time it's ever happened.
And so Watchman says the enemy knows their buttons. You're right. Yeah, you're right. And that's why I'm saying, like, at some point, you know, this has become this show, even for me, you know, like, I just don't believe that we're actually dealing with people of heart, mind, and you know, some kind of body or even a healthy kind of a spirit, because they think that they should be making calling the shots for people who can't speak for themselves. This is the thing. Why is there such an obsession? Only in America do you have people out. Can I say that? Is it only in America that you got people beating the streets to take somebody's life, and then even tying it to the Constitution, saying, "Oh, well, they should have a constitutional right to." That's been in the law books for 50 years. They have the right to. What is it?
It doesn't make it a constitution. It does not make it a constitutional right just because the liberal Supreme Court at the time, and yes, it was a liberal majority court at the time, actually passed Roe versus Wade. That actually said a woman. So
if you want to tie it to, I don't know that the Constitution says anything about. I know it speak of if you've read it, there's one thing, but I hear it speaking more of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. I don't remember it saying anything about taking anybody's life. I don't know that. Where is it, guys? Show it to me.
They're saying it's the 14th Amendment. They're saying the life, liberty. Let me actually pull up the 14th Amendment.
But see, this is the thing. You rarely hear. Say these people are totally flipping their script these days. They rarely ever mention the Constitution is basically toilet paper to them 99% of the time. And then they mention it by name here. In this case. Now look who's here. It's Marcy T.
Marcy!
Hello,
Long
everybody.
time no see. Long time no see, young lady.
Yeah, I've been
Good to see you,
hiding in
Marcy.
Texas. Hi, Autumn. Hi, Angry. How are you guys?
We're good. Well, in a few minutes, we're going to move on from this and talk about this baby formula story. I was going to do a baby formula scavenger hunt, which it's not funny, Marcy T, to me, but I just think this is just so dark and so cultish. Like, what is going on here?
Well, it's funny, like 50 years ago, it was okay to make your own baby formula at home, and now it's considered dangerous is what I've been seeing. And it's like
because anything that comes out of your own body is people can be convinced that anything coming out of their own body can't be as good for you or what you were given by God than what they can make in a lab, right? Is that
right.
what it?
But the thing is, Autumn, I had my last son, I tried to breastfeed him, Eddie, and he couldn't latch. So you always have to have backup, even if you want to breastfeed. And the other thing I see is, you know who it's all about again. It's him again.
Ooh, isn't he invested in? I think
In
shout out to the
everything
Lockhart perspective.
Everything that's horrible, he's on there. And I mean, there's all kinds of rumors going around, of course, on what's going on here. But how is a mother going to produce milk if she doesn't have any food, Autumn, to eat herself? Right?
That's a fair point, but they somehow keep pumping money out. They can come up with funds. I don't know. I'm at a loss, Marcy T.
Okay, now something. Go ahead, Angry.
I want to ask you ladies a question. Because I don't know if you talked about it. I didn't see the beginning of the stream. Did you talk about the money that they gave to Ukraine?
No, I haven't talked about the Ukraine. I have not. Not yet. Actually, there was another.
I honestly, and this is just my opinion, I think you're trying to bankrupt the country.
Of course.
That's my honest opinion. And hello, I'm cool paranoia. I can't even speak now. What the hell?
It's absolutely what you just said. They're angry. And here's the other thing. Where's this money coming from?
Us.
Us. I think
Us.
they took that about 2 years ago and spent it all.
How many?
Here's
How
the
much?
thing.
What's the number? What's the magic number right now? Are we?
The magic
What?
number going to that country beside Russia is 40 billion. Not
But-
million, billion.
But the week before that, he sent 33 billion. Add those two together.
That's what
Holy.
I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Where are we? We're just we're rack. How many installments? How many?
Now,
is
here's
there
what I
paid for?
think. Listen, what I think is going on. They've been parading this buffoon around, not knowing what he's doing, not knowing what stage he's on, where he's at, what he's doing, and then enter the UN WHO vote on the 22nd through 28th. So does this look familiar? Like they're trying to show an incompetence so they can go ahead and say, hey, yeah, let's take this. They don't have a leader, really. This is just some buffoon in a meat suit walking around not doing anything correct.
Well, yeah, I'm saying, you know, I agree. I'm just thinking, is this somehow going to crash us into? Is this going to usher in a digital system? Is that part of the reason, or?
I'm not going to say his name because it does get flagged for a lot on here, but there's a certain man that made a comment that said that by 2030 we will own nothing and be happy. Anyone know who said that? I'm not saying it up here. Maybe someone in the chat knows who I'm talking about with that statement. Maybe
Yeah.
Autumn. I think Autumn already knows who I'm talking about, but I don't say his name.
who it is.
Oh, but wait, hold that
Santa
thought.
Claus.
Don't change the channel. Don't change the channel. I want to show something really quick, this less than a minute, and we'll wrap you guys into that, exactly what you're talking about. So hopefully I can share this really quickly here. So thank you guys so much for coming in. I really appreciate it. And I've been trying to get to some of these issues. There's so many of these issues out here, but I want to get to this one.
I like Uncle's answer. God.
Let's see. I really appreciate it. Let's see. We have one. Okay. Let's see if we can get this together here. But yes, here we go. And we'll get on to the uncle that you're referring to right now. So just let me know if it's 5x5 or what it is. So this was, I'm a little bit behind, but we're not behind. We're just taking our time. Here we go. All right. So this is the UN and the WEF announced to accelerate the agenda. Guess what? 2030. And this was May 6th. So I'm a little behind. That's what I mean by that. So here we go.
This afternoon, the Secretary General and Klaus Schwab, the founder of the World Economic Forum, will witness the signing of a memorandum of understanding on a strategic partnership between the UN and the World Economic Forum, which outlines areas of cooperation to deepen engagement between the two institutions and to jointly accelerate the implementation of the 2030 agenda. This afternoon, the Secretary General.
Okay. So I don't know if you guys have heard that officially, but there you go. The general, I'm not sure what the general is it Gutierrez? It's no longer Adhanom, the other guy that was there during the Trump administration, but it's somebody else. But yeah, I just wanted you guys to be able to see that. And of course, this is typically, it's funny. You look at the UN's emblem in the back, but it's very similar. It's the same, that kind of Tiffany bluish looking color that the WHO uses too. So, they're using the same person is designing everything that they have.
The World Health Organization is, if you go into who actually runs the World Health Organization, it's the same people that were talking there.
Right, right. And I think, like I said, I think all these people are in lockstep together. We've got
They are.
mad scientists wanting to tell you what you should and should not be eating. Um, I don't know. It's really, it's coming full circle for those of us that are paying attention.
And the one that's been paying attention for probably what, the last 10 years or so? Hey, at least I can make somebody laugh. I try to have a little bit of fun. I don't try to make it all doom and gloom, even though it somewhat is right now.
You're right. Well, here we got a couple of comments here from Anonymity. He says Elon is the new pope of Ministry of Truth. Wait. There you go. He says the UN symbol is a flat Earth map. Okay. Nice. Well, let's see. And then, this was a great one from Watchman. He says, to Marcy's point, he says that Joe Biden is, I'd say, in a veggie suit, not a meat suit.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you guys know the history of the UN, right? 1920, Madame Blavatsky.
Yes.
So that's what's going on right now. This has been planned at least since then. And of course, the WHO is underneath that. That
Yeah,
big
well, I think-
umbrella banner of UN.
Well, I think that they started showing themselves like, what, 2 years ago? Like, we had never heard so much from that organization until all of a sudden, bam, you've got them and you had Fauci and
Autumn,
yeah.
I'm not to disagree with you when we seen the acceleration. I think it was when a certain somebody got into the office of President of the United States. That's when we really started to see all of these entities trying to backstab the citizens of the world. Because you can see it throughout, because Hillary Clinton was one of the best. She would always go to the UN. So what's I tell you?
Well, I think she and 44, is it 44? I think she and 44 both had like pretty big roles, or they've had a presence there for quite some time, and they don't hide it. They don't. They're not hiding anything right now. They're really not. They're telling you what they want to do, and they're doing it. They're actually, they're moving forward. And I have found purple lights in the city that I'm in the city, by the way.
And I saw them.
Purple lights.
Purple lights sightings. If you got them, show them. Like, and then and show us where they're showing up. Like, yeah.
Well, they're in Davison, Michigan too. But did you hear the excuse why they said the LED bulbs are malfunctioning, and this is why the purple light's coming off of them?
But then there's another content creator that I follow, and purple is everywhere. It's coming up. Like, just look at some of the alphabet networks, the NFL draft, Sock It To Me Jen Psaki. It's just so specific days they come out. Elizabeth Warren wearing, it's that this color is not going away. It's not. It's not going away. If you get the sighting, let us know where it is. And I'd love to ask and see what the people are saying in your area. See what they're saying.
I live out in the middle of nowhere. I don't see the purple light yet. I have not seen one yet.
Well, just give it up. But you do have a gas station in your state with no attendance.
I know that. Because of you, young lady.
Well, here's the deal. Here's the deal. I think I might close in like, I think before the end of the month, I'm going to do the Georgia, you know what. So I'm going to give you guys a heads up on that because I'm going to go live from the site and let you know that I have reached the Georgia rock is what I will do. I may have to give you guys a code for it because I'm wondering if they're going to let it go through. That'll be interesting to see if they block me. Because you know how messed up the streams have been.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You think that's a coincidence? I don't think so. But I think we have one more on the baby. Marcy T, before I share this, do you have what do you think about like an alternative to baby formula?
I have a recipe I will share.
Okay. I appreciate it. I mean, because I think somebody in my neighborhood has a young baby, and I'm like, that baby is crying all of the time. And I have seen packages of what is it, Similac outside of their door from Amazon, and I don't even know what do you think about? Is that synthetic?
Mm-hmm.
Is that what a synthetic? It's just lab generated, right? So, what do you think about the nutrients in something like that? Is it as good as? What do you think about that, Marcy?
I think it's horrible. All of this is just making my stomach turn. It's ridiculous. It's beyond ridiculous, and I don't understand how these people can't see. I mean, they're telling everything. It's right out in public for everyone to hear and see, and yet nobody's doing anything.
That's true. Well, I was thinking maybe I'll do like a little excursion this weekend and just see, because I mean, I don't have a child, and I don't have a child, anybody that I should shop for a baby formula. But I'm thinking maybe I'll just go to a few stores that are if they're within range. I'll just pop into a few stores and see what it's like.
But
do you have? Is it low in certain areas? I hear that Florida, some of the stores in Florida are quite low. Was it Publix? I heard that's one of the largest chains of grocers in Florida, and they're pretty low as well, like little or nothing. I mean, but what about, and see, this is another thing. I don't want to get into it too deep because I know they'll come after me. But do you guys think by any chance that they are trying to force? Is this a way to get them to the mothers that have been mocktailed to pass on?
Oh, wow.
I mean, do you think that that could be a part of this?
Yes.
I mean, yeah.
Sorry, I'm in the dark here. That's why I look crazy, because I can't see. Michelle goes to bed early. So I'm out here on the balcony in the dark, and I can't see. That's why I keep getting close and far away.
But
you're fine.
Marcy, I love that you put stuff in the chat while you're talking. If you do if you do what she said, if you get those things, you can make your own baby formula. That I do know.
Well, Uncool says that a high fructose corn syrup is in baby formula. Buffett said.
I got a name for him, but it's not Buffett.
Okay, Bart, you guys take down this recipe.
No, I'll send a better one, but that's basically what you need to stock up on then, right? And
Right.
then this is going to be combined into 6 bottles. So I mean, it's ridiculous. As soon as I read them saying, and don't try to make it yourself, it's dangerous. I was like, you lying stink bombs.
Marcy, did you hear my laws that are based on men's bodies. Did you hear what I said with that one about
No.
the draft and child support?
Yeah, you're right. I have 2 sons. And that child support crap is like, it ruins their life. And it doesn't matter if they helped in all ways, they're still considered criminal. And that's a very bad injustice against normal people.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is. They set us up so well, so carefully. They freaking crossed every T, dotted every I. They really planned this out. But they're just copying Lord God Almighty's plan, so we don't give them credit. But I mean, I just can't believe what we're looking at right now. And I was sent to Revelation chapter 17 from Lord God, I believe. He said, this is what's going on with that vote on the 22nd. It's 17:17, and it said, he is going to allow these people to give the power over to the beast. And since Madame Blavatsky started the UN, it was called the League of Nations when she started it. They've been going to this one world government and monetary system, and it's basically a control system, control grid, and we can't. I mean, it's got to happen. It was written. So that's the part we got to get through our heads. This was written. It's got to happen this way. So we just follow by ear, pray, and listen, and hear what's going on.
But Mercy, you're bringing up excellent points. The thing about it, what's the Bible say? If a nation calls me God, gets on their knees and humbles themselves.
Exactly. We know that. That's what I've been doing. But it's like, I'm here in Texas visiting a sister in Christ, and that's all we've been doing is praying and humbling.
There you go. Hi, Awesome Alice. How are you?
Hey,
Awesome, Adam. Awesome, Alice. Hello, honey.
hello, Alice. I hope you're having a wonderful day.
Well, let me just read her comment here really quickly. She says they're trying to speed up revelations. Even the devil knows the word.
Exactly.
See?
Yeah, the devil does know the word.
He
The
knows
devil
it better
knows
than
better
us.
than us.
Yes, he does.
That was a God moment. That was a God moment.
They also practice their religion, if you want to call it that, themselves all the time, a lot more than so-called Christians. So
There you go. Let's see. Okay, so let me read this comment from Watchman. It says, I'm in Los Angeles. Did anyone else get an army of construction workers in the streets during lockdowns?
Not really. Not here.
No.
But like I said, I live out in the middle of nowhere. And a state that is very very liberty-minded. Let's put it that way. Yeah, we're liberty-minded here in this state. And the two ladies up here know where I live, and I think most of the people in chat know where I live.
Well, the Proverb Nation says League of Nations sounds like a DC Marvel super evil.
yeah,
It does.
They use the familiar terms and they put it in movies and cartoons and all that. So when you hear it, you're like, oh,
Hey,
cognitive dissonance sets in and you kick it out of your brain. It's
the one question I
ridiculous.
have, think about this. When you think of a facility that's called Planned Parenthood, what do you think they do there? What would you think they would do there?
Planned Parenthood.
Exactly. They would help people that want to become parents and plan it out.
Right,
But
not let's
what are they known
evacuate your
for?
uterus. They're known for evacuating uteruses.
Exactly. And then you got Autumn. Please don't get this wrong. I do believe this, but I don't believe in the organization. Think of an organization called Black Lives Matter. What's that tell? Democrats are very good at using words a different way and have the way they plan things out. Margaret Sanger was a Democratic donor. She was a eugenicist. She helped Hitler with what he did.
Well, yeah, this has all been planned. What do you think? America brought all of these over here under Operation Paperclip to do what they did. They loved the idea. The Vatican is in bed with these. They're all in lockstep. That's why it's called lockstep. And the number one rule for these people are lie, 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 and never let anyone know that you're a liar. Go to your grave lying.
But I honestly think, and this is just from me doing the streams that I do, listening to people, I honestly think a lot of people are starting to realize what is about to happen, and they're trying to stop it. I know 2020 was a bad year for everyone. Don't get me wrong. But there was something good that came out of it. There was something good that came out of 2020.
Yeah, people woke up a little bit.
Parents realized what schools were doing to their children. Parents actually got to see what the heck was going on in schools. That's why I say, hey, God, for crying out loud, me sharing my stories as often as I am right now, God has blessed me with what happened to what was trying to be done to me was a bad thing. But somehow or another, God has made it to where it's actually a good thing.
That's what he's known for.
Very true.
Let's see.
He
What else
takes
do we
things that they use for evil and he puts it for good. It might not look good either when you're going through it, but when you're done with it, it's nothing but good. I
Let me
lived
read
through stuff.
a couple of comments here. Awesome Alice says, Planned Parenthood, not about planning parenting. It's about control parenting. Thank you for that, Awesome Alice. So then she also goes on to say, a lot of people woke up, but they don't know how to deal with it because so many don't want to find the father. That's true too. That's true.
That is very, because God is a very merciful God, but he's also a very jealous God. And we see that throughout the Bible. But I don't ever want to be on his bad side. That's why I believe in Jesus. And
well, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to this next story that I'm going to go into. I'm going to go into it really quickly, and then I'm probably going to wrap us up here, just really quickly. And it's more on the point of the actual baby formula, and this is out of New York Post here. And then we'll move out of here. There's so many of these stories going on, and I just don't know. It's just like we've got paid crisis actors to come out for certain things, but we don't have them for anything else. We don't. But nothing's happening. It's like nothing is stopping what's going on here. Okay, so I'm not sure, but this particular story is out of New York Post, and it's entitled. Can you guys see this one? Okay. So this is the baby formula shortage hits New York City parents, special needs kids hard. Okay. I'm not sure if that has anything to do. And it's buffering, or rendering. Let me back it up here. Let's back it up here. Okay, I'm not sure if this is we're not trying to have a baby shower here. Let's roll on through it. Thanks, guys. All right. All right, so babies aren't the only ones impacted by the crippling formula crisis. Special needs kids and their frantic parents are also feeling the brunt. As parents continue to trawl the bare aisles of New York stores, pharmacies are also struggling to make ends meet for young children who have ongoing prescriptions for formula. Roger Paganelli, the owner of the mom and pop shop Mount Carmel's pharmacy in the Bronx, told the Post he has, quote, hundreds of patients, end quote, who are fed formula out of medical necessity, including kids who have tubes in their stomachs because they're unable to ingest food. Quote, these are complex special needs patients, end quote, Paganelli said Thursday. Some parents have regular scheduled pickups for the prescription formula, but the pharmacy is now having to ration it out to make sure every child gets a portion. Quote, we're trying to balance and ration as best as we can. It's a very sensitive situation. These are hard decisions to make, Paganelli said. I guess this is one of the moms here. Shady Gramaggio tells the Post that if the formula her mother sent to Florida doesn't arrive on time, she may need to miss work. The moms are stressed. They need to feed their children. The kids need the formula. The pharmacy is the outlet of the stress, and we feel their pain, end quote. Meanwhile, other parents are now being forced to contemplate what comes next if you do run out of formula. Shady Gramaggio, 31 of Forest Hills, Queens, told the Post she may have to miss a day of work if the formula shipment her mom has sent to Florida doesn't arrive in time for her 3-month-old daughter. So I guess here's another child here. Andesha Carbon Halstead tells the Post she had to switch to a brand of formula that costs double the usual price. Quote, if it doesn't arrive, I'm going to squeeze out every ounce of milk I have in my breast, end quote. Gramaggio said, quote, I was thinking of calling out of work and having her latch all day on my nipple to try to get milk, end quote. Wow. Okay. Gramaggio said her baby goes through 8 bottles a day, but she can only produce enough breast milk for 3. She hasn't been able to find the formula her baby drinks, Enfamil Gentlease, anywhere in the city. Quote, it's very stressful because it's not anywhere, end quote, Gramaggio said. I live in Queens and I had to drive all the way to Manhattan in the Bronx to look for it. I spent my whole day with my baby in the car seat. We were driving for 3 hours. Andesha Carbon Halstead, 30 of South Bronx, told the Post she and her husband will have to cut back on their grocery bills so their kids can eat. The mom said she was forced to switch to an organic brand of formula for her 10-month-old girl, and it's double the price. Quote, money is going to have to be moved around for other things this month and probably next month, end quote. She said, quote, we can't move the money around for rent or medical expenses, so it's going to have to come out of our food budget. Quote, in order for our kids to eat, my husband and I will have to cut back, end quote. The shortage is a result of February 17th safety recall for the formula maker Abbott over contamination concerns and an ongoing supply chain disruptions. Shout out to the Lockhart Perspective. She's been covering quite a bit of recalls on tons of items. So it's just a snowball. You guys see, is this not crazy? Contamination concerns? Let's see. Everybody's still there? All right, so I'm going to keep going here. This one's almost to the end here. Okay, so according to this, it's had a crippling effect on New Yorkers and parents nationwide as retailers limit the amount customers can buy and store shelves remain bare. Doctors have been urging desperate parents to reach out to food banks while also warning against watering down formula or turning to online DIY recipes. Is that what you were referring to, Marcy? Mom of 3, Erica Thompson of Wallingford, Connecticut, said it's become a full-time job tracking down the hypoallergenic formula her baby girl needs. She only has one small sample can left, even though friends out of state have been shipping her formula when they find it. Quote, you can travel everywhere, countless towns, stores, Amazon, online, end quote. She said about finding shortages everywhere. Quote, honestly, it's heartbreaking. Certain stores have absolutely nothing, and now they're limiting you. So what do you do? The issue has driven some parents to trade, sell, or offer leftover supplies on social media. Jennifer Kersey, 36, of Cheshire, Connecticut, said she was also down to her last can for her 7-month-old son when someone spotted her Facebook post on a group and dropped off a few sample cans. She said she and others in the group are now helping each other by finding stores that have stock and getting formula to the mothers who need it. Angels of Long Island, a thrift store in Patchogue, also started giving away donated cans for free on Wednesday. As parents continue to struggle, Governor Kathy Hochul said Thursday that the state's health department had stepped up communication with formula manufacturers in a bid to track production, supply, and shipments. Okay, in close coordination with our federal partners, New York State will continue to do everything possible to support New York families in need for a formula for their infants, and quote, Hochul said, quote, my administration is committed to ensuring every newborn and child has access to the nutritional support they need to stay healthy, end quote. And we believe her, right? State GOP senators Sue Sereno, Daphne Jordan, and Mike Martucci had earlier called on the governor to take immediate action to address the shortage, including streamlining the supply chain. Quote, no parent should have to live in fear of not being able to find formula they need for their babies, end quote, Sereno said. Quote, this shortage and the inaction we have seen surrounding it is absolutely unacceptable, and it will take committed partners at every level to boost production. So there you go. You kind of got, see, these people, it's political. I don't know whether she's up for some type of reelection or whatever, she's also she's also telling people to come over there if they can't get what they want. She really cares about life. We all know that. I don't know. I don't know where we're going with all of this. It's just the FDA and the contamination and the recalls on food items. It's just like everything is going bad. Going bad. So once again, I want to thank everybody for coming into this segment. I appreciate it. I appreciate Angry Conservative and Marcy T for coming in and sharing some of her time with us. We've missed you around here, Marcy T.
Marcy just needs to stay in Texas. Marcy just needs to stay in Texas.
I was mute, so you couldn't hear the cars going by out here. But yeah, I needed a break. I needed some refreshing of my mind and spirit because this is just getting ridiculous. If you have eyes to see, it's ridiculous. It's like, what the heck is these people doing that they're not getting the communication coming through?
Wait. Shout out. Right on, Marcy T. Disavout Podcast said they better start locking up that formula in the stores. Well, Walmart is already locking it up. But I think Publix and the other ones are still open. But at some point, you're going to have to call somebody like at electronics and be like, I need this, or yeah, you might have to punch a card to see how many. Right. Shout out to Asamala. She says it's all on purpose. Yeah.
Exactly. Awesome.
So yeah, but we'll see what happens with this, but that's not going to be the only shortages. I mean, the shortages are going to catch up.
Oh, anomaly.
What did he say by Bob, baby? Oh, God. Well, what about goat's milk? Is that a decent source?
If you don't have breast milk and you can't get formula, goat's milk is a good alternative. I do know that.
Yeah, but look how they're murdering all the animals too. Nobody's safe.
That's Marcy. Yeah, I'm gonna. Oh, you're something else.
Hey, I'm not doing it, Angry. This government is. I'm just telling people.
I know.
Brian, this is ridiculous. I can't even say in America.
I would play one of my sound bites, but I know I'm not trying to get her. I'm trying to watch what I say on Autumn's platform because I know she doesn't believe in cursing. But there's a most of the time. This is what I think. This is what I'm thinking.
Airforms.
What the fuck is the matter with people? What the fuck is the matter with people?
What the fuck is the matter with people?
Exactly.
I appreciate you guys so much for coming on. So what I'm going to do is go through and say salute to everybody in the stream. I appreciate you guys for
All right,
coming
love
on.
you guys. I'll talk to you later, Autumn girl. Love you, Angry.
Okay.
Love you, Autumn. Love all you
Good
guys.
Love to you, Marcus. I mean,
Thank you
Marcy.
guys. Thank
Marcus.
you guys for with all your comments and stuff. We understand. We love you very much. We gotta have each other's backs, though.
This is true. This is true. Thank you, Marcy T. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, honey. Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. Any last words for us, Angry, before I shut us down and for more battle.
All I'm gonna say is go over to a YouTube video by James O'Keefe. They might be going after conservative some journalists they don't like because there's a whistleblower that they released something yesterday. That's all I'm gonna say. Go over and watch Mr. O'Keefe interview somebody.
All right. Well, we'll keep an eye on it for sure.
Thank you,
so
Autumn,
much.
for letting me.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Angry. All right, guys. I appreciate your patience and a little bit wonky on I think the streams have gotten a lot more to put up a little bit more roadblocks, it seems here. But I appreciate it so much. Once again, thanks so much to Marcy T as well as Angry Conservative on this stream. I really appreciate it. I'm going to go through really quickly and say salute to everybody really quickly. And I will see you guys around. Thanks for coming out. There's so much material. I mean, I could go on and on and on, but I want you, we'll hold on to it. We'll hold on and pick up the next one. So from the top, thanks so much, Matt Militant, for coming in and for your support, as well as Proverb Nation. You guys check each other out. We're available. Old Head Deuce 22, Risen Ability. Thank you so much for coming in. Angry Conservative was on the panel. Thank you so much, Angry, for coming in with your commentary. We appreciate that. Also, DJ Vision Barnett was here. Thank you so much, DJ Vision. It's nice to see you. Disavowed Podcast was here. Thank you so much. And the Samoan Watchman. Thank you, Watchman, for coming in. And Anonymity. I'm going to get it together one day. All right. And Chris Lucas, Fishing for Truth. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And Uncool Paranoia. Thank you so much for coming in. It's nice to see you in the chat. Thank you so much for supporting us around here. Like I said, sure, there's more to come. And Awesome Alice was here. It's been a long time, Awesome Alice. It's nice to have you back around here. You guys also continue to check your subscriptions because I think they're doing a little magic dance. Alrighty. And I think that's going to wrap us up. Marcy T, Matt Militant, I really appreciate it. All right, guys. You guys are the best. I appreciate your support at all times. And I'm going to wish you guys a great start to the weekend, a Friday. And I will keep you guys up to date on that that the G excursion, if you will, for the lack of a better phrase there. All right, guys, take care.